Have you ever heard the story of the woman who became pope? She wore the sacred papal robes, led the entire Western Church, and even had a secret lover. And then, her secret was blown wide open in the most dramatic way possible. Her water broke in the middle of a crowded street during a papal procession. Let's travel back to the 9th century, a time when a woman's world was incredibly small. In a small village, there lived a girl named Joan. But Joan was different. She was too smart for her village, too curious to be silenced, and she loved books more than anything. The problem was, education, especially theology, was a world reserved for men. So, Joan made a daring choice. She disguised herself as a boy, took the name Johannes Anglicus, and set off to study. And she didn't just study, she excelled. Her brilliant mind and deep understanding of Scripture captivated everyone she met. No one suspected a thing. She moved from a monastery to Rome, and her reputation as a profound scholar grew. She rose through the ranks with breathtaking speed, from a simple monk to a respected scholar, then a cardinal, and finally, upon the death of Pope Leo IV, the impossible happened. The cardinals and the people of Rome, convinced of Johannes's wisdom and piety, elected her pope. She became Pope John VIII and ruled for over 2 years. She managed church affairs, settled theological disputes, and led with authority and grace. It seemed her secret was safe forever, but secrets have a way of coming out. One fateful day, Pope John was leading a grand public procession through the streets of Rome, riding on horseback, surrounded by bishops, nobles, and a massive crowd of adoring citizens. Suddenly, a wave of agony struck. The Pope swayed, then collapsed to the ground. The crowd screamed in confusion and horror. Right there, on the cobblestone street between the Colosseum and St. Clement's Basilica, the Pope went into labor. In front of the entire city, Pope John VIII gave birth to a child, revealing her true identity as Joan. The chaos that followed was absolute. The shock and outrage were immense. The Church, faced with this unprecedented scandal, acted swiftly and decisively. They tried to erase her from history. Her name was scrubbed from official records, and the story was vehemently dismissed as a dark, shameful legend. It's even said that for centuries afterward, papal processions were forbidden from ever taking that specific street where she was exposed. The Church wanted the world to forget that a woman had ever held the highest office. So what became of Joan and her child? The accounts vary, lost in the mists of time and suppressed history. Some chronicles claim the enraged crowd stoned her to death right then and there. Other, slightly more merciful versions say she was quietly taken away, stripped of her title, and imprisoned in a convent for the rest of her life, forced into penance. Her child's fate is an even bigger mystery, completely lost to time. Despite the Church's best efforts to bury her story, the whispers of Pope Joan never truly died. Her tale survived in medieval annals, passed down through folklore, and debated by historians for centuries. Was she real? The Vatican says no, calling it a Protestant myth. But many historical documents from the period mention her reign and its shocking end. Real or legend, her story represents something powerful. It's the story of a woman who, driven by a thirst for knowledge, outsmarted and outperformed the most powerful men in Europe. History tried to erase her, not because she failed, but because she succeeded beyond anyone's wildest imagination. She proved that a woman's mind could be just as divine as any man's. What do you think? Could a woman have really become pope in the 9th century? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and if you enjoyed this journey into a forgotten corner of history, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more stories that time tried to forget. See you next time.